Last year, everything was just perfect. I was living the life, the dream. The name Sam Boomer actually meant something to people. It was a name that carried the reputation of a rising star, someone who's got nothing left to lose. But now, the only reputation that name can carry is an absolute freak. A man who somehow survived a horrific crash and lost the part of his body he needed to think, or to seem normal at least. My career had been ruined. Ever since the accident, I disappointed many once adoring fans, and ever since then, my memories have been very fuzzy. And hearing these doctors ask the same questions over and over again isn't exactly helping me. To be honest, not even I know how I'm still alive. For all I know, I actually did die that day, and I'm just a living corpse at this point. But I guess even corpses can still feel the blisters on their skin, the throbbing pain in the spot where their head used to be. But one day, all that changed when a very special fan of mine had paid me a visit. He said his name was Calypso, as if that was supposed to mean something to me. Said he was in charge of some demolition derby, and he was looking for people like me to compete. First prize was anything the winner asked for. In my case, this meant I had the chance to find out what had happened to my severed head. A man isn't supposed to live without the thing, and it's been long enough since that fateful day. How could I refuse? I mean, let's face it, who wants to spend the rest of their lives looking like a headless freak? It's pretty odd being knocked out, especially since I lack the thing I need to have consciousness in the first place. But now that I was back on the road, I was able to think more clearly. I started to reminisce on the glory days right before everything came crashing down. There I was, Sam Boomer, a rising star in the Midtown stock racing circuit. I had just won my 5th tournament only a couple of months before. But for my 6th championship race, I was up against some poser from outside of the country. So many adoring fans from all around the globe were excited to see me win this race. It was amazing, to say the least. But I guess some things are never meant to last. Many fans of 12-Pack had experienced some major disappointment that day. All I could hear was the sound of the crowd, shocked at the disappointment they had just witnessed. I remember there was this smell of burning in the air. I just laid in there, feeling the fire slowly cook my helpless body like a 4th of July barbecue. The vertebrae in my neck was crushed from the impact. I almost thought I was dead. And sometimes, I wish I was. Now, I'm starting to remember what happened after that. I had heard a voice frantically shouting from the stands, sounded like a deranged lunatic. And the last thing I can recall was the sound of someone leaping onto the track and running towards me. Eventually the paramedics arrived, but once they managed to get my body out of the car, they were in for a gruesome surprise. From what I've heard, I still had a pulse, and a small chunk of my brain had also remained fully intact. It was freaky. The paramedics were able to revive me despite being decapitated. It's almost like they wanted to keep me alive just so I could suffer. And I bet it has something to do with making me their guinea pig for science or some crap. The docs always told me I was a miracle, like that was a good thing. But once word spread about my horrendous physical condition, well, I guess the people of Midtown didn't seem to feel the same way that the doctors did. All of the people I once considered loyal fans had seemingly turned on me. Like this was an opportunity for everyone to get their 5 seconds of fame. Eventually I was sent over to the loony bin for further testing. But that's it. The memories just sort of end there. There's a maniac on the loose, and they've stolen my head and ruined my career. and I sure as hell would like to get it back. When I win this contest, meeting a guy like me will make them lose theirs, and that's a promise I'm definitely gonna keep. You can count on that. Well now, looks like I was the champ once again. It's good to know that I never lost my charm. And now I was able to reclaim my trophy, so I went and saw Calypso. I asked him to keep his promise, to bring me the dirty bastard who nabbed my head on the day of the crash. Turns out, he's still one of the loyal ones. Said it was time to do a special meet and greet with one of my fans. And that's when everything started to make sense. Good Lord, I remember now. There was this guy, always claiming to be my biggest fan. He was always there at the racetrack, obsessively watching me rise to fame like the drunken freak he was. He even scared a few people off with his inappropriate behavior, always yelling and cursing over me. Calypso told me that he was the one responsible for everything. For setting me up with Watts, for messing with my engine before the race, and most importantly, for stealing what was rightfully mine. I was furious. The fact that I let some no-good, low-life fan of mine cause all this damage was embarrassing. Because of his shenanigans, my dreams of being successful in the Midtown stock racing scene were ruined. This wasn't even a real fan, just some psychotic nutjob responsible for ruining the reputation of 12-pack and stealing the driver's head like it was a souvenir. But I definitely consider Calypso as a true fan. He even offered me a special bonus prize for being such a great contestant. Although I would have preferred running the son of a bitch over, I knew a slow and painful death was a much more fitting punishment. This guy took everything from me, turned me into a freak without a head. I just knew payback had to be brutal, which is why I did what I had to do to make it right, for justice, for me. It was poetic, really. Even though I'd gotten my head back, I don't think I'll be needing it anymore. Considering it had been sitting there unattached from my body for over a year, it started to get all decrepit and gross. But now I remember. I have a family to take care of. I haven't seen my boy in over a year, and I don't think I need to expose him to his horribly disfigured daddy. I think it's about time I put my racing days behind me. As much as I hate to admit it, ripping my fan's head off was kind of therapeutic. And since the people of Midtown want to perceive me as some sort of headless monster, I may as well give it to them. Everyone will soon know me as their headless horseman, and my name is Severed Sam. I can't afford to lose my reputation, and I just know there's still a little bit of hope left for me if I'm still alive after all this time. But Midtown's fears of the clown are about to come to a screeching halt, because we're going head hunting. Until I find a head that's right for me, nobody's gonna be safe. And I'll make sure I won't show any mercy. You can count on that.
Hey buddy, you lost? Looks like you could use an extra set of hands. Oh, you and me are gonna get along just fine.